Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm. New normal mode raids came out this week. The Arcadian. Everyone's talking about them. Some for better, some for worse. We'll probably get to talk about that a little bit today. But we're going to be giving you our first impressions on the Arcadian. That includes a story, so if you haven't done it yet, spoiler warning now. Anything we have to say about that, we will not hold back. But Boss's story, predictions for Savage, and again, I'm sure difficulty will come up somehow in this show. Anyway, I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Happy. Of course, joining me is Sly. How you doing, Sly?
How you doing, Haps? Haps, if you had a wrestler name, what would it be?
Can I use my porn name?
How did we get there? Okay.
Well, because that's the only nickname I have, Anthony Birchwood. Middle name plus street I grew up on.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Cool. Great.
That's technically a form of wrestling, Sly. Anyway.
Okay.
And also, we have on a guest who has had to sit quietly through that entire endeavor. Whoops. How you doing, Whoops?
I'm doing great. Doing my daily hunts, Mr. Happy.
I don't know how people do daily hunts actually. Like, I can understand once in a while, but doing them actually daily would drive me crazy.
It's not too bad. I'm just on that level and grind lately, and enjoying the normal modes even as of late. So I'm excited to talk about them today.
Yeah, you expressed very publicly how excited you were as soon as you were done.
Oh
with
yeah,
them.
Yeah, they were great.
Mm-hmm.
You still feel that way about the third fight?
Yes, I do actually.
All right.
I'm glad we're not getting, like, there is a place for it. I'm glad we're not getting the arena-wide hitbox with, like, just a bunch of trio mechanics, and you're just like, I don't know. I like trying to get my uptime every once in a while, you know?
Yeah. I feel that. The monk in me wants it too, but I'm pretty glad to be Fizz range, right? Listening to all the melees complaining, I'm just like,
the lariat combo with like the floor AoEs, man, and then the bombs too. Like, Savage gonna be scary.
I just watch everyone zip across trying to follow him, and I'm just like,
yeah, I was like double Reaper ingressing, getting rescued, sprinting, using my ranged ability, like, and it was still just barely enough.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, we'll get to talk plenty about that. But before we do, thank you to our sponsors over on Patreon for supporting. You don't have to support. They choose to. All of the content for State of the Realm is available for free on YouTube and podcast audio formats. Enjoy it however you will. Thank you to everyone who chooses to support. So, as we said, Arcadian Normal came out this Tuesday. I think I actually kind of want to bang out story impressions initially. The first story tier is normally very basic, and they kind of follow that trend here still. But I don't know about you guys, but I was kind of worried about doing another tournament arc because we've had a tournament arc before in 14, a very different one still.
No. That tournament arc was complete bullshit. This
You're talking about Omega, right?
Yes, we were talking about Omega.
Totally different.
But
totally different.
It's still different, but like I still was kind of hesitant because I didn't want something like lighthearted, so I really didn't know exactly what they were gonna do, and it looks like I guess the answer is Chapter 3 from Thousand Year Door. Seems to be the consensus.
Fuck
with
that.
The story
This
so far.
shit is straight up WWE Raw.
It's literally WWE. Like, actually,
McMahon,
like,
yeah.
like down to the exact method of storytelling, down to the lights literally going out at the very end and the Undertaker showing up again.
Yes.
and then down to Vince McMahon coming over the overspeaker going, "I'll allow it." Like, it's like copy paste, and I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, the story itself, I mean, it kind of starts with that Dawn Trail-esque lightheartedness, and I think the wrestling vibe kind of digs into that whole summer vacation bit a little bit. So kind of matching vibe, but it's also matches kind of the latter end of Dawn Trail and like trying to set up a somewhat serious stakes that come with it. That also kind of directly follows up with the MSQ. A lot of people were wondering about their continued soul consumption culturally and what that would mean. And that's kind of like the main topic that's being addressed in the Arcadian here. So a nice little follow-up, even story-wise, to what we got in the MSQ.
Yeah.
Anything else? Because again, there's not really much to say. I guess you could talk about the characters if you want to, but half of them are bosses anyway. So
it's kind of like
we're going to talk about them.
It's scratching that interesting itch of like, but what about that ethical dilemma of them using the souls in the Arcadian and like the military and all that stuff? And you're like, oh, well,
and we find, and
so
we eventually find out.
Now what's gonna happen?
And of course, we eventually find out there's even worse downside to it.
Yep. Besides the fact that they're just like using souls.
Slurping up souls. Yep.
It's also killing the people that are using them.
Yeah. Before the age of 20 at that. Though to be fair, in anything anime adjacent, once you're like over 20, you're pretty much on your deathbed anyway. So it's you know, I guess their life expectancy was to be, well, expected, to say the least. So
I super like Yana, I'll say that.
Yes.
Black Cat. She is
for
awesome.
those who didn't read.
Yeah.
You know the number one thing I see people say about Yana? When will they be able to get her eyes?
Yeah, actually, no. We were looking around at the NPCs around the Arcadian as well. Some of them have like neon hair colors and like cool looking eyes, and we're like, wait, I don't want those.
One day, maybe after the graphic, they did say they wanted to revisit character creation after, like, once the graphics update was done, at some point.
It's done.
Yeah, and they've already revisited character creation once after the benchmark, so there's always room for them to keep going, I suppose. Yeah, so Arcadian story-wise, I think off to a great start. And you mentioned Yana, but I actually think the entire kind of ensemble, while we don't get to spend much time with, especially the bosses, has been a pretty solid introduction-wise. The announcer, who I'm not unconvinced is the actual evil mastermind. Not really. He's a Lalafell. He's a Lalafell, so he has to be under suspicion.
Lalafell, Vince McMahon. That's where we're going.
He's not Vince McMahon. He's oh God, I don't know who the current announcer is on the table. I was trying to think back to the 90s when I actually watched. It's not Doug Dimmadome.
It's Doug
Cole. Michael Cole.
Okay, there you
Michael
go.
Cole, yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's Michael Cole. That's who he is. His presence is probably the one I appreciate most because they did exactly what I wanted them to do with the announcer.
Yeah, I like him too.
Yeah.
I think it was a little convenient where he was whenever something went down, which is like a little bit of an eyebrow raise. Maybe bad storytelling, maybe just like, maybe he's actually the bad guy and Mrhappy's right. I don't know.
But Sly knows the thing that what I wanted them to do. We talked about it the week before with what I wanted out of the Arcadian with our little Lalafell friend here. In this commentating, he comments on your mistakes. He comments on the actual fight. Yeah. I was like, I hope they do. Yeah. I was like, they better make him actually do dynamic call outs for like getting hit by something or dying. And they did all of them. You res, he talks about you being back. You fall off the arena. You do anything. And he calls you out.
Yeah. Some of it is scripted, but yeah, like a lot of it is, personal things. Hey, he got knocked out the ring. Yeah, like just.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When you limit break, he has a call out as well. That's another one. So yeah, they did a fantastic job. This is exactly the kind of, if you're gonna not voice my cutscenes, then make the fights engaging like that. Because the voice acting in having voice acting right from the first tier is already another big win, raid wise, just in the actual fights. Because that's what made Anabasios a little bit more tolerable was the voice act. I mean, we've got special cells, of course. We got all sorts of memes out of the voice acting there, but we have it right from the beginning, and there's so much effort put into it. Now I just want them to voice the scenes.
One day. One X-Spec.
I mean, think about how long it took before they gave Gaia a voice scene. Like, it took them till the end of Endwalker to give her anything. I imagine being Gaia's voice actress and just being called like for like 2 years after they were like done with you. Just be like, hey, we're gonna actually do another line. Do you want it? And just be like, oh, okay.
Finally.
So characters good, story good, but I think the big meat of conversation has got to be the encounters themselves. And I guess with the WWE comparison, they are definitely, they're definitely going off the ropes with this one because there's a lot of creativity.
Nice.
Yeah. I was going to do a top rope joke specifically, but I just, that's it. Yeah. They're definitely flexing the Dawn Trail creative tools that we saw with Valor Mando, with Zoral Jaw, with even the dungeons, especially Strayborough. And so we can go kind of fight to fight and talk about each of them. And then we can do our predictions as we do the fights themselves. Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
First we have Black Cat, or as the Japanese announcer calls her, Black Kato!
True.
I just love the Japanese announcer is really good. It's actually really good. This is probably, it's not the least interesting fight. I think the least interesting one by default is the third encounter, but this one was a really like standard kind of gotcha first boss that we had here.
Yeah. Didn't think about the whole, crashing the ring thing, the a la what was it called? Shadow of Darkness, I think. At least it wasn't. There wasn't any weight involved. And then I don't think.
Yeah.
In Savage I don't think in Savage there'll be a weight limit either.
You never know. Maybe the cracked ones you can't stand on them that long, or they just perma break. There could just be you can't spend much time navigating them. And less of a if you stand on the completed ones could be safe, for example, all the time. But the cracked ones could be even if you step on, step off, they just crack automatically after a few seconds. It's a possibility, Sly.
I think the gimmick is that multiple people are going to get that knock up and down mechanic.
Yes.
And they're going to have to coordinate landing on different tiles at the exact same moment.
Yeah.
And the tile phase will last much longer than does normal.
I don't actually think it's going to last that much longer. I think it's just going to be, there's going to be two of them like there was here. I don't think it'll be much different lengthwise.
I'll say I was not expecting them to do a mechanic like that for this fight. I was expecting more play off the ropes and with the claws and find the safe tile. That's what I was thinking. But then they're like, there goes the arena. It's gone. And I was like, oh. Pretty cool.
Fair question, I feel like. How many people did you have die? Did each of us have die to the arena breaking the first time?
In my run,
Mm-hmm.
I think 2, maybe 1. We just happened to be on the right square. And then we saw the tiles breaking, and then one person got knocked through, and we went, oh. Oh no.
Yeah, I wanna say it was about the same for mine, because when I saw the AoE markers for the tiles and I saw one of the tiles had it twice, I'm like, oh. And I kind of figured it out just like that, but some people did not. So yeah, they took a long fall.
I like that. There you go. Now you can't get mad at me the next time I do one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad you accept that, because you're in for a time. Trust me. I think mine was 6. I think 6 people.
Damn.
Woo!
I remember. So it's funny. I'm the only one here who's going to think this. I instantly started thinking of Diablos in Final Fantasy 11. Because he does that. He basically just rips most of the arena out from under you in squares. And similar effect, except you fall into a pit of dire mites that mob you that you're not supposed to get out of. Here you just, die. So, bit of a different story. Yeah, 6 people, I think. It was definitely a wipe. I remember it being a wipe for certain. But the knock-up thing, I'm wondering if they're going to make So obviously the way they're going to achieve the knock-up thing, they actually showed us in normal mode. Copycat does the knock-ups and the knockback.
Yeah.
And I think Copycat's actually going to be the primary mechanic, like the thing they're going to abuse the most in the Savage. They're going to Copycat like 2 or 3. There's a lot of ways to use the Copycat in that fight to make it an absolute menace of an encounter.
It's gonna summon like 4, and then it's gonna do the limit cut markers, and people are gonna call it limit cut 1, 2, and 3.
Yep. It's not wrong. And then the people who aren't part of it have a stack, basically. Yep. Yeah. That overshadow AoE that comes from that. The big thing that I was actually even thinking about for the Copycats, she has a lot of really basic like half rooms and like, like the cross AoE and plus AoE. She's going to summon like 3 or 4 of them, and they're going to slide. They're going to like leap to spots. So you're going to see them all do like the claw, or all of them do the other thing. And they're going to leap at the same time. And you're just going to have to, it'll be like 2 or 3 patterns to be quick to recognize. But like, you're going to have to find like the really tiny safe spot on the arena to do all of that stuff. And the boss will be in the middle of the room, out of your range.
Yay!
Uncoiled Fury moment.
Harvest Moon.
And what are Dragoons doing?
Nothing.
No.
Jack shit.
No, come on.
At this point, I'd rather press nothing than Piercing Talon.
But the potency gain loss, sort of, with one of the two.
It's 150.
that you wouldn't be doing otherwise.
So stupid.
Everyone's like, why is Reaper and Viper doing so well? Dragoon's like, we know why.
No, exactly why.
Monks too.
As a since a Realm Reborn Dragoon made, I'm playing Reaper this fucking tier for week 1 at least, and then using that gear to play Dragoon week 2.
That's a week 2 problem. The whole can't.
I'm not thinking about that till later.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, dude, the Copycats. I think the other big thing a lot of people will have a little bit of PTSD from on this encounter is Pounce. That's Devour, basically.
Devour.
Yeah.
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 We saw how the PF handled Devour last expansion. I'm a little afraid. Even if I don't think it'll be that bad here, because it's like the actual first fight of the expansion. So, it's always...
Yeah, there's probably only going to be 2, what's it called? Like patterns.
2
and
patterns.
Once people figure out the spot to go, then yeah.
Yeah. And they'll probably do the Copycat doing it at the same time. Like that's the only big thing is both her and the Copycat doing it. But you're right that it'll just be 2 patterns and 1, movement for each of them. That works. However, that was true of Devour also. 2 patterns, just do 1 of the 2. It's not that bad, right? And then
Copium?
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, maybe this one's survivable. Maybe it just gives you a vuln and it does like most of
it. Doesn't down for the count and then kill you.
Doesn't down for the count, kill you, and then hard body check you afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's I'm hopeful in that regard. But I feel like a lot of people are, I think even we're right now maybe over predicting it, because the first encounters, especially we saw with Asfidelos, they're not as creative as they could be. Especially in the first year.
Yeah.
Like, what did Asfidelos even do different in like it was like the half room AoEs, like the 270 degrees going back and forth. And then I think Intemperance. And like the dartboard wasn't even really much of a thing to solve. I think most people kind of limped through the dartboard the first time.
Yeah, the fight was ridiculously easy.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of finding who needs to stand where and flex for Intemperance. That was literally it.
And the chains, which, once we figured out was... I remember Whoops audibly going, yup, let's do that.
When you figured it out and put down the markers, I was like, yeah, that's it.
And then the chains start going off and you're like, thank God.
Because we were doing some crazy shit.
We were doing merry-go. We were fucking carnival, like Ferris wheeling merry-go-round, and then it's funny because I remember seeing a video of somebody doing that on purpose, like not like their week 1 strat. They like stopped doing it the correct way and said, "Let's see."
It's called the circus strat.
Yeah, the circus strat. We were just like, yeah, we'll have to send one person far up there and then move them out and then oh god.
It's always the ranged players coming up with these kinds of strats. You ever notice that?
It's because we have nothing else to do.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are on drugs.
Okay, or we're bored, Sly. We don't have to.
That drug is called freedom of movement.
Yeah, I'm allowed to do it. Listen, I'm like, I got a literal hawk's eye over everything. All right, when I'm on Bard. Okay, that's not the one, Sly. That's not the one that you owe me. All right, that doesn't count because that's a normal turn of phrase. Okay. Yeah.
Either way.
Okay. Yeah. But other than that, the normal mode doesn't do too much else, and I don't think it's going to do much that we don't recognize in one run in Savage.
Right.
I think there's probably like one mechanic that'll be like brand new name wise, if any, and that's kind of it. Like soccer was in P9 at most. Please don't give us soccer. I don't want soccer again. We don't want that again. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to add about M1. I had to correct myself. I almost said P1 and not R1 or M1. That's going to be the big debate. Is it M, R? Somebody want to be more
I'm already
creative?
seeing it. I've also seen AAC, LW, MC, whatever, -1 through 4.
That's AAC light heavyweight. Right?
Yeah. I think I'm going to start doing that.
You would just pick the longest name imaginable. My chat was talking about, don't you have an emote that's just like 47 random fucking letters in your chat?
Which one?
You have more than one?
Yeah, it's a 7TV check. Somebody goes, I'm on mobile, so I can't XYZ, and then we go, get him! We just like post all the super long emotes.
Oh my god. That's too much. Yeah, high. Well, there's one that's high, but somebody said there was one that, it was like 47 characters long or something. They posted it right before the call. That's so toxic. 7 TV check. All right, so that's Black Cat. Probably going to be rolling through that one pretty quick. Then the second fight comes, and I think everyone who normally doesn't do Savage probably thinks the second fight is going to be the one.
I honestly don't, but I just don't like Honey Boo Kitty Fuck for whatever fucking reason.
Honey Boo Kitty Fuck, huh? All right.
That is her name.
Yeah. Are you not buzzing about with discussion about her, Sly?
Right.
Yeah. Are you not in love with her?
No.
Is she not charmed you enough?
No. First of all, like everybody loves that music except me. I fucking hate it.
You want to fly away every time you hear that music. Yeah.
And good luck to y'all having to listen to that for maybe about 4 hours or so. I honestly don't think it's going to be as bad as normal is. The one big thing, the one big mechanic that you probably won't see in Savage and is the heart. Well, you will see the heart mechanic, but not the floating hearts. My thing is,
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
when have we ever had a Byaku / Nier type mechanic in Savage?
Now.
Now.
No.
Yeah,
No,
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. It's too. It like usually with that kind of mechanic, there has to be in Savage. There's a little bit of control around it. In normal, it's just too fucking chaotic to work around any mechanic in any control.
I'm pretty sure they're baited
So-
on players even in normal, and they're not just going all over the place. It just looks like they are because in normal, everyone's out for to save themselves. Pretty sure that if you group up, you would bait them all in the same direction, which is still not Byaku-esque.
I wanted to try that.
Yeah. We could
We
still
never did
tonight.
it.
Just bring it up.
Yeah.
Just we'll all stand. You actually said it, and we just didn't do it.
Yep.
I remember you saying it. I was like, we'll do that later. Yeah, I mean, they could make the hearts even just chase people to do light rampant, but it's love rampant. You know, like you have to have like people who are like literally
Love
you can
rampant.
love rampant it where like people have to take the hearts to like make sure that you don't get too many hearts, et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah, I could kind of see it like a caloric-esque.
no, don't say
mechanic
words
where,
caloric around me. I don't want to hear it.
where we're like, I can see it like where some people have more hearts at the beginning than others. Some will have one, some will have zero.
That's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Light
Yeah,
Rampant
that would
does the
make
same.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other, well, I mean, the rest of the fight actually has a lot of decent premises, and it's pretty easy, I think, to kind of appreciate them in normal and see how they're going to be used in Savage. Big one is Splash and Drop of Venom. That's got Savage equivalent written all over it as like
Yep.
some sort of back-to-back spread stack kind of deal. Almost like, you know how in Shiva, the old, like A Realm Reborn, Shiva Extreme, how she splits the room with the icicles and then does the spread AoE on everybody when she goes in the staff. I could see the room being split like that, not so evenly as such, but like two people have to go one direction. Like you just have to set up like pairs or whatnot for anything.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty obvious stuff. The group Bs, I think, are also going to be not as like the later group Bs that are just like chaos everywhere. I don't assume something like that's going to happen, or if it is, it's going to be very controlled.
I kind of like if it would just be faster, and then you have to just like really quickly check what side you need to be on, and then which direction you need to go, clockwise or counter.
Yeah. I think
And then
that's what
I
they're
bet
gonna
you there'll probably be some player debuff like explosions or like partners during that too. Would make sense.
Some people were saying like stuff to take away hearts. I don't think that's going to be a thing.
She would never let you do that.
Yeah.
She would never, if you got rid of a heart, she would track you down and just obliterate you. That would
She
be
would
the
find
first
you.
thing. Yeah, her song says enough. She says, "Treat me well, or I will make you dead."
Oh,
Yeah, she's a little bit of a malignant soul when it comes to the way she feels about your affection.
And she sounds like Blanche from the Golden Girls for some reason.
Well, I was going to say she's from Yasulani, except she's like under 20 years old. So her parents might be, but technically she's not. I will say one thing I noticed in the normal mode for this, and that I didn't notice in the first fight. There's pizza slices that are never used for anything in the arena floor. So
yeah.
Yep. And also the lines in between them, they look like markers on like a clock, like, you know, like the tick markers on a clock. I thought those were the Group B's lineups, and I went back and did it again. I think they were a little off of the Group
Yeah, I
B's
figured that was
lineups.
going to be something with the groupies too, but it wasn't.
Yeah. So there's definitely some arena floor. There's like floor markers on the arena that are not utilized all too much. But one thing I want to bring up with Honey Bee, I think she's a really fun boss in normal mode. She reminds me of Stray Burrow, which I enjoyed. So having that in an 8-man format is hilarious. That's not how everyone feels.
Yeah, I was hearing that a lot of people were mad about that fight actually.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people were mad about Stray Burrow too. So that's not really that surprising. But
I was expecting it after. Did he say this on your day as well at the media tour? You guys, where he was like, the battle team's tired of like not taking risks, and I told them to take more risks this expansion with like battle content, so they're gonna basically remove the inhibitors and like start trying to do interesting things again, even if they might piss people off.
yeah, that was reiterated. I think he reiterated that a lot because a lot of people were asking about the design of everything too. Like it's just kind of like a natural thing for people to be like wondering about, concerned about. But there's been a bit of a discussion about Dawn Trail as a whole in regards to its difficulty. Obviously, there's a forum post going around right now that is hilarious to me that talks about Dawn Trail being too hard and these raids being a premier example of that. And the second, and strangely enough, the third fight are the fights that are being listed kind of as the primary examples of Dawn Trail is too hard. I can tell. I can tell from Sly's face. There's no sympathy whatsoever. He's speechless. Like, what the? For audio only listeners, Sly is stupefied right now.
I don't even know what the fuck to say, and normally I like to play devil's advocate for the casuals and everything. Nah, fuck that. What's wrong with y'all?
What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
I mean this in the best way possible. The fuck is wrong with y'all? I'm trying to be nice about this. I'm not trying to be toxic, but
you might not be trying, but you know.
Like, bro, I'm for once in a while actually having fun in normal content, which usually is boring as shit.
That's it.
I don't know what to tell you.
Whoops, have you seen or heard anything? Has anything come your way?
Okay, I'm back.
Whoops, be toxic.
Oh,
I
didn't even hear him say
something.
I didn't even hear him say be right
Yeah,
back.
sorry, I had to step away for just a second. I was listening on my phone. You were talking about that forum post. I was mad that content's hard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, be toxic. Be toxic. Say something toxic.
You're a fucking idiot. No. It's a valid complaint, I guess, after
no, it ain't. Shut up. No.
I know. After they were like absolutely babied throughout Endwalker, let's be honest. Stuff was easy to do for the first time to the point where it was boring. So somebody starts the game, they're like, this nice little easy, cute MMO. Never touching Savage or Ultimate, and then like this stuff comes out and in the quote summer vacation X-Pack, and then they're like, what the fuck? Why is my entire team dead every single pull? I don't get it. We gotta teach them again. That's all. They must learn the hard way.
Did y'all and I'm pretty sure y'all did, because I did last night. Have y'all done this on minimum item level?
No. I don't think we cared enough to do minimum item level. It was like as normal mode.
I haven't done it, no.
Yeah,
wait a minute. I don't even know that you can queue in, because you couldn't queue into stuff in Endwalker on content at mid-item level. At least not the 24-mans. I remember that. I tried to do mid-item level Thalia the day it came out, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm not allowed to mid-item level the 24-man on the day it comes out?
I think somehow we did. I don't know. Like,
maybe you just equip bad shit.
Yeah, I mean, that would do it.
Whoops and I are very accustomed to deliberately equipping garbage gear. So
unfortunately, yeah.
Hey, at least it doesn't take as much inventory, this expansion.
Oh my god, yeah.
I was like, what, I only need 3 pieces for Alphascape? Oh, thank God. Unfortunately, there's many other raid tiers that exist, and it'll all add up soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's wild. What upset me about the post was not somebody thought it was hard or was complaining. That's expected. Everyone always complains.
It's subjective.
Yeah,
I get it.
They're wrong, but it's subjective. You know, that's. But no, here's the thing. I mean that when I say they're wrong, because they said they're okay learning and dying, but other people dying upsets, like, is disheartening. And I'm like, that's fucked up. So you're okay being the liability, but when other people are the liability as well, it's a problem all of a sudden. You know?
Yeah, it's their fault. Yeah.
That's what makes it too hard. I can stop and learn it, but them, they better already know it. That has real, like, you ever been in a PF? And
unfortunately,
nope.
I should have seen that one coming. You ever been in a PF and somebody goes, and you have one person who dies every pull, right?
Yep.
And they're the first to go every time. But after like 3 pulls, they're the first person to type in party chat, So what's going on, guys? Do we need to talk about something to fix what's happening?
Surprisingly, yes. Fuck. Yeah, go ahead.
You drag them through a clear, and then they win the mount or the drop or whatever, and then they leave without saying anything. Like clockwork, every time.
Yep.
Mine was Neo X Death right at the beginning. Dude was professionally killing me. Like that shit was a professional hit every time. First mechanic would stack on me on Neo X Death the first time and ask me what the fuck's wrong with me. I'm like, dude. You're a contract hitting me for no goddamn reason. Like
the fact that you brought up the fact that Whoops brought up the whole taking the item and you brought up Neo X Death reminds me to the samurai in one of the PFs we had that brought a yokai watch and wore it the entire time without fixing it and then won the body piece at the end. And they were also dead and rezzed like several times over.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I was like, yo, not gonna lie, can I get that body? Because you kind of sucked. I think I actually typed that in party chat. Because you were kind of griefing, man. And then he won it with a 96.
And then he said 2 IFB. Leaves.
That's exactly what happened. Pretty much. Oh my god, yeah. That's what that post gave me the energy of the person who's like, they die and it's like, oh man, I made that mistake. That sucks. I'm sorry. And then somebody else dies like, what the
hell, guys? We good?
Oh no, not the we good.
It's always we good or question mark?
You good? Question mark? Oh, kill me. Oh. Just and what's funny is that post is very busy post. There's only like 2 other people in agreement with them. It's not like the healer strike where there was kind of like some back and forth discussion between equally as upset people about the state of healer. This is like 2 people who are just like, yeah, man, I agree. And everyone else is like, please stop talking. It was rough, but it's like, do we really think that we're gonna have? Is this gonna be the thing for Dawn Trail, or are we gonna suffer and they're gonna dial back on things? Because Viper's already getting dialed back a little bit, and that's concerning.
I mean, what are they gonna dial up? Is the question.
I gotta be so real. I don't know why people are so mad about Viper losing a positional or 2.
I don't think it's exactly Viper losing it. I think it's the precedent that it's barely been out and they're already doing something like that. Like, I think it's the rate of action. Like, I thought they would have had it done in the .01, but they only did the range increase, which the range increase was a perfectly valid thing. I was frustrated playing Viper with the 3 Alm range on everything. But I think it's just the immediate reaction. Because, like, we've had issues with jobs before that could use something or, need an adjustment, and it's very slow. Viper was barely out for a week, and they promised a change that fundamentally was like we had known about for months and wasn't great. Like, did it need to be addressed that quickly by the developers for something like that?
By the way, Whoops, if we need anything on Goon, just shut up. They'll give it to us anyway. So don't. True. Don't say anything.
Dragoon's definitely getting something.
Yeah. We're getting the monthly Goon buff back.
It has to at this point because Reaper's just looking, not even looking at like funny numbers, looking at like just raw potency they gave Reaper every 60 seconds compared to Dragoon is one of them got a little more.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to note that Viper and Reaper have the same kind of path to power in getting 50 gauge going into their super mode. And Reaper's super mode is where they got a bunch of, like, on top of getting stuff every minute, stuff for their 2 minutes, all of their enshrouds are better. And it's like one of their key components. And that's, I think, what makes Reaper and Viper so strong is I don't think Reaper and Viper peak at their 2 minute mark. Like, they're not as subject to their 2 minute variable, I suppose, in their overall damage spread. Whereas Dragoon, Monk, Ninja, they're all very dependent. Like, you still want that crit Hyosho. You still want like the big, like the Phantom Rush on Monk. If you don't get those, it's awful. Like, yeah, is it bad to miss them on Reaper and Viper? Sure, like not get the crits, but you're doing that. Like, that's just part of your average rotation the entire time.
And I will say this, for as busy as Goon is now, our damage doesn't reflect it.
Yeah.
We are hella busy. We got busy.
It's the same amount of weaves. It's just you don't spine shatter anymore, and now you have 2 cooler buttons. That's actually all it is. But they just don't. They hit like a dragoon. I'll say that.
It's middle. It's always been middle of the road, and it's been okay, but it's just never been, out there like Reaper is now, or what Viper will probably be.
A summoner is listening to this conversation somewhere and going, just shut the fuck up, all of you. Just shut the fuck up.
You know what? Adam Crayon Station, though. Adam Crayon Station.
Red mages aren't faring much better either. So they're also just like, listen, you don't understand what's happened to our role. All right. These motherfuckers are talking about like, oh, Reaper's so strong. Look, you guys are still all in like the top 6. Okay. I don't want to fucking hear it. Okay. Look at us. You know who's in the top 1? That one. You know who we compete with? That one. You see that one? That one. That one's fucking us. All of us. All right. So sorry, summoners. You had to catch a straight somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. As the Fizz
Bob
range
Ross
player, I had to speak on
up.
behalf of summoners. Yeah. Had to happen. One day, summoners. No, never going to happen. Anyway, that's been the biggest discussion. I'd say Honeybee has been probably the catalyst. I think Honeybee and Straybro, I think the entire design around a shit ton of things flying all over the place and people getting caught by strays is going to be problematic in any sort of casual content. But it's also a lot of fun, so just, enjoy it. Just sit back, relax, fuck up, die, laugh, and have fun.
Enjoy the song for about 4 hours, Raiders.
Yo, Sly. So one of our healers, Theo, not Keo, Theo. It's confusing, trust me. It's
very.
He was just like, I can't wait to like see clips of people getting angry and like having arguments while progging the second fight, and you just have that fucking song on in the background the entire time. Just imagine like, dude, you gotta fucking do this mechanic this way, and you just hear in the back. Oh, it's gonna be so great. It's gonna happen unironically too. And that's going to be the best part. Just imagine your PF falling apart. Just angry typing. It's like getting into a fight in a Titania PF. Like, is this really happening right now? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we get into the third fight, which I think is a textbook third fight design for normal mode. Sly really likes. I can tell, Sly, you're flexing for the third fight right there.
Literal bomb Cena.
Bombs. Well, that's you know what? I like a good nickname. Bomb Cena's gonna listen. I have a nickname for the 4th boss, so Bomb Cena works for the 3rd boss. Yeah.
Oh, I probably know what it is.
Oh, you know what my nickname for the 4th boss is. If you don't, I'll be very surprised. Yeah, this fight's the most basic in normal mode.
Yeah.
Like, by far.
Yeah,
the most basic.
They're hiding a lot.
Yeah. One, the floor not used at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and well, with the exception of 1 and 4, 2 and 3 did not really use the arenas like we thought they would.
I just realized what the ground markers are for. I just realized it. He's going to jump off of the post and do like an elbow slam. It's literally perfectly aligned with jumping off of the post on the side.
He is bouncing. Yeah, well, he didn't really in normal, but he is going to the ropes for his lariats. Now, the only thing I can see him doing is doing the lariats faster just by, using the momentum of the rope. That's what I think will probably be a mechanic in Savage is like, back to back to back lariats, and you having to dodge it. Either that, or he's not going to clone himself. So,
no, but here's the thing. He's a cheater. You know what's a big cheating move in the WWE? Your tag team partner just jumping in the middle of the match.
Who's his tag team partner?
We're gonna find out. maybe
we'll
maybe one of his doping drinks clones him. Who knows?
Yeah, I think he's gonna take a bunch of those doping drinks and they're gonna do.
Yeah, that's what
things.
everybody's saying.
Yeah,
that's what everybody's saying. Maybe he'll toss the ref at us. Who knows?
It could even just be like limit rope, where he jumps onto them, like he hits the arena, then jumps on the other one, then hits the arena multiple times. Like they could do that without him having to do more than one. Yeah, what if his bomb separates from his chest? He spits out like a bomb partner. What if Refbot's in on it this time? What if Refbot helps him this time?
Damn. No.
Oh, it's not Refbot. Anything but rigged referee. Because this is, again, it's an
Mike
embellishment.
Tyson all over again. Goddamn.
Who would have ever thought that watching Monday Night Raw was going to help you determine raid mechanics? Refbot's villain arc. Fuck. He's going to hack
Mike Tyson
Refbot.
all over again.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised because this is probably the most traditional arena. Like Hell in a Cell is pretty like something that could be really normal here. Going under the ring to get a chair. Like
somebody on Twitter drew their Warrior of Light doing the interact, like picking up an item, and it was a steel chair in that arena. I was like, wait, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of fun with that. But another thing is that the fire takes up a lot of fucking space on the arena, more space than it needs to. So I think the fire is going to either get blown away or like moved, and you'll have to use the outer edges as well. There's like fans under the arena that I guess is what's supposed to like make the fire go, but I wonder if they can use that to like blow the fire in a direction or something as well, or just get it out of the way. There's just way too much space on the outside of the arena for that to not be something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could just be using it for visual obscurity with the lariats as well, though. Because when he goes all the way out there, you know, the visual obscurity goes up with that. So there's a lot of possibilities with this one. But even just his basic stuff, like I think, even though his basic stuff is, as we said, well, basic, it kind of also paints a pretty direct picture of some of the stuff that he'll do that like what we've already seen. Like obviously the lariat combo is a big one that people are looking at. Limit lariat. Who knows? Listen, Endwalker design can't be completely gone. Limit lariat's a very, very possible thing.
Oh yeah.
But also just the long fuses, the short fuses, the bombs sticking to people, the towers with the knockbacks, the 270 degree, like the way you even just combine those mechanics, you can come up with some pretty nasty combinations. So I think the third fight's going to be, I will say this. What is their obsession with the third fight being fire?
He's a bomb.
Does he have to be a bomb? I mean,
does the second fight have to be a bee? I don't know.
I was just thinking because we had Phoenix with an orange arena and Endwalker, and now we have Bomber with a fire arena and Dawn Trail.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, it's lit. Yeah, it is lit. Thank you, chat. Appreciate that. Yeah, so that's the thing. It's just, they just had to land on that. I definitely think he's going to sticky bomb people. That's another thing.
I think advancing the time of fuses could be a thing too, like messing with the timer of the fuses.
Yeah, he's a cheater. So I mean, anything that would involve him being a like a scum lord is pretty much on the table.
Yeah.
I just wonder what the other doping effects are going to do. There's no way they only do one doping effect. I think I'll be shocked if they only do one doping effect. Raid wide poison. Chat's got a few things. Fans blow out the fuses. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh yeah, the knockback towers. If there's only 4 of them, they're definitely going to be pair knockbacks. If there's 8 of them, then they'll do something different as well. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they attach bombs to players, and some players need to go in one direction to spread, and the other role needs to go in another direction to spread. I just wonder if we're going to get an ad phase where he literally Hell in a Cell's a light party in the middle of the arena.
Kind of like what was it? What was that one? What was that one in Alexander where people got individually like jailed?
Oh, that's A7. Yeah, that's
A7. Yeah,
yeah, that's all thoughts. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. I just all the wrestling things. Like I'm waiting for. Are we gonna have to get a ladder and get a briefcase? Like what are all
Money in the Bank? Really?
anything you can think of? Listen, I'm just I feel like there's a lot of room to have fun. This is the most straight WWE fight of all of them.
Yeah.
So I really want them to flex their creative muscles on this one, and I think it's gonna be rough on Savage. Like as rough as a first tier's third fight is, like as rough as Phoenix was, but rough.
Yeah.
The fourth fight, on the other hand, you really just have to make up whatever the fuck you can think of, because I don't think you can realistically make an educated guess about what's happening on the fourth fight in Savage.
Good old Fixion.
That's the nickname, Fixion. Mm-hmm. I'm not a furry, but
I was waiting for it.
Yeah. Everybody's collective thought in the beginning of that, and watching the beginning of that fight, would. Just see nothing but a bunch of, you know what? Would. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Would.
Listen, all I know is there's way too many people who would say shit about Garuda back in A Realm Reborn to not expect it to happen here. Okay?
Yeah.
It's just there's literally zero chance that wasn't going to happen. Okay. This fight probably this is also a really basic fight, but we know it's the fourth fight. So
yeah,
it's any creative imaginings here that aren't just a second phase or what's going to happen. Like there's a lot of possibilities with this one.
A lot they could do. I know a lot of people saw the platforms on the outside and immediately thought something and didn't get used. Is it possible? Sure. Us getting knocked back to the platforms on the outside.
There's one platform on the mini map that is actually like has collision. Like you can see it on the map if you zoom out that will be used. All the other ones, there's nothing on the mini map, but that one there is.
Another thing I'm thinking, front and back lasers just won't be front back lasers. I think people will have individual debuffs that will allow them to take a hit from one and not take a hit from the other. Like they'll be able to take back but not front, things like that.
And you have to like cleanse the debuff or you die. So it forces damage onto those people. Yeah, we wondered about the things. It's like, why would they need to make it different for the front and back? Like, why couldn't you just?
Yeah, like there were clear indicators. I'm like, it's not just going to be front and back. No, look, like those indicators are there for a reason.
The indicators is one lone example of something that could have like 4 or 5 possibilities. Like there's a lot of things you can do. You can just make her fake out and like have one that like actually means she's firing from the back, even though it's appearing in the front. So
I was thinking that initially I thought the circle was going to be stand in this, and then like the diamond was going to be get away from this.
Yeah,
could be in Savage.
I bet Savage is going to do that. It's going to be really annoying.
Yeah, because you'll have some patterns, right? It's gonna, you know what that would remind me of? That reminds me of the last boss of Rock-On, the samurai, where sometimes you get the shit out in patterns when he's doing doing all the spins. Yeah.
Yep.
So I could see that happen, getting all out and having to fucking. Although I'll say this: if it's out, it can't be a big out because those fucking things fire fast. If you, so. There's got to be a little careful with that one. Otherwise, that's going to be a problem. So that might inhibit it a little bit. But it depends, because who even knows if she'll stick to doing that while you're locked into one side of the arena. For all we know, I mean, she could force the party to split into 2 light parties, like Black Smoker style, for stuff like that. That's something I definitely think is going to happen, is a Black Smoker-esque double arena split with a Shadow Sabbath. So there's that. That's pretty predictable. The half rooms, I think getting like way more clones at once, like the Shadow Sabbath with the half rooms. I think they're gonna. That's gonna be a pretty obvious one. I think the big question, and speak from your soul with this, okay? Door boss or one boss?
Titan maximum, one boss.
Sly?
I'm leaning door.
Door? Okay. Is there a reason you're leaning door, or is it just...
I mean, partial history, sure. But 'cause I know the lore will probably play into it, and she'll dig deeper into the beast soul.
I think she's going to dig deeper into the Electrope. I think the number of things she transforms into, like, I guess the giant fucking mech that stands between the platforms and shit.
I think she's gonna make a Gundam.
Yeah. I want like a Gundam, and she has like an arm on each of the platforms, and then the arms do the mechanics on the platforms. And you have to break the arms as one of the mechanics. So yeah, that's like one of the reasons for the arena split, for example. Then you could do like diamond weapon style stuff where you might have to swap over to the other platform manually.
Oh yeah.
So
I think she's gonna launch us back, and then we're gonna be dancing on that back platform.
Yeah, the back platform is way different than the platform that is up. Unless what's behind
smaller.
us is not the... Yeah, I think it's 3/4 the size of the current arena. It's like you took the front row out.
Yeah.
But more so, like, if you look behind, it's the texture of it is also completely different. Like, it's not built like the main platform is the big thing. So that's the question, is like, is something happening alone on that platform back there, or is it going to split between the... Like, that's the question, because they're just different. Like, they look like they're built for different things to begin with. So, but yeah, no, I also straight up said Gundam. Whoops, I said the same thing.
I think it's going to be.
We're really overdue. Like, look at... Since Stormblood, we've had 2 non-door bosses. That's it. Come on. What?
It's time.
Like,
Dude, Titan was so good.
And Titan's a great... I mean, Titan had its own problems on release. Slow instance, fast instance shenanigans.
Yeah.
But if you take that out of the equation, that was a really well done first final boss. It doesn't really have like an overly negative reputation like something like Abyssos has, but it still has kind of a lot of late game... Like, raiders who are hardcore raiders who do ultimate still kind of respect Titan Maximum for what it was and like how it was on release. So I think that's a good kind of... If we're with whatever Dawn Trail is doing design wise, differences we'll see in experience. I think that's a good kind of middle ground to reach for, as a Titan Maximum-esque level.
Agree.
Whereas Shiva didn't quite have the same reputation. Great fight, but Light Rampant really ruined that fight for a lot of people.
Sure did.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I can hear it in my nightmares. I didn't think it was that bad either.
Given our
I thought that was like normal, because that was technically my first time, like, week 1 progging a fight like that. And I was like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be hard. Then everyone was like, I hate this, and I was like, what's happening?
and they hated it doing it the easy way, not our way.
Oh yeah.
For those of you who don't know,
strap.
yeah, Whoops and I, that was our first tier rating together, was that one. And we would just take our orb to where it spawned and do loop-de-loops around it until it was time for us to move.
Including the melees.
Including the melees. Yeah, the melees would also run to their orb and just do fucking loop-de-loops while piercing
it worked, damn it.
Yeah, I remember you really trying to like get in for a GCD. Just like, please, just let me
play my job.
Yeah, so we did that the annoying way, and it still wasn't even that bad. But even still, it's the reputation of it that matters most. And I think Dawn Trail needs to have 4 banger bosses, or the rep. Everyone's gonna get scared if any of the bosses aren't a banger, I feel like. just after
It has to set
Endwalker.
it has to set a tone. It has to set the tone for the rest of the expansion. Yep, I agree.
Even when it comes to predicting Ultimate, which is, a few months down the line, we need to kind of know what they're willing to do, because like the Ultimate's going to be a new boss built on old mechanics, so it's a little different. But we still got to know what they're kind of willing to push. Like what is their average for Savage encounters for just the general player base? How creative can they get? Because we saw this creativity. I actually think that Dawn Trail's creativity that people are seeing now is what Criterion players saw last expansion.
Yeah. Criterions have been bangers, by the way. So, like, I hope they kind of take some Criterion mechanics.
You ready for tripwires?
Yes.
I remember predicting we'd have tripwires in top. I was like, they're going to make us disarm something. I don't know what it is. Yeah, that's interesting. I do want to know a lot more about who the actual like fight designers are. I want to see if there's much overlap between the people who did Variant Criterion and who's doing what now. Because I don't think I think some of it's going to be the same people who were making fights that even we didn't like before. But I feel like some new people are at play here.
Gotta be.
Yeah. Tripwires were kind of in Zoralja? No. That's a big debuff wire that triggers things. Like the final boss of the first Criterion, I think it might be their most creative boss of the batch. The Amaja.
The rotating portal mechanic is crazy.
Yeah, rotating portals, tripwires. Like the second tripwire one that you skip in non-savage, like the precision of that with like trip 1, trip 2, bait AoE, trip 3, trip 4, bait conal. It's like they really, really went all out with something like that. So I want to see that in Dawn Trail. And then also we know we're getting Criterions in Dawn Trail as well. Do they push the topic even further on those?
I kind of want mechanics this Savage tier that aren't necessarily like, here's the solution, stand here and do it. I want more like, look at what you have and now dodge because of it or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that represents kind of Stray Burrow and honeybees, sort of.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do, just kind of be good enough to do it.
I don't want the difficulty of this tier to be okay, the people week 1 solved it and now we just copy them.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be like, we actually need to like dodge stuff and figure out how to do this exact pattern ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think there'll always be some level of normalcy involved where like what your general movements can be, but that doesn't mean they have to be the same every single time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they're gonna go. If they are gonna do that, I wouldn't see that happening here in the first tier, or at least not to that big of a capacity, because they admit like the first tier they tone back a lot every single time.
Yep.
I think they even said for like overall balance they tune it back 10 to 15% from what they would do if it was like a later tier. I don't know what measure that is. I don't think that's an HP or anything, because week 1, even the first tier usually has a few checks. Well, yeah. I mean, Hesperos, phase 1 Hesperos.
Yeah.
Pretty rough. Phase, and yeah, Titan Max, yeah.
Titan check.
Yeah, the Titan Max check was, but slow, fast. Yeah, there's always that curiosity about how bad it actually was. Yeah, it's always a little bit. Oh, yeah, no EX1 safe spot, no EX2 standing in the fucking wall, which is still probably the wildest thing that how is the EX2 problem not that we could stand in the wall, but that the debuff expiring didn't just murder people?
Yeah.
They were like, no, go stand in the wall. That's fine. But like, if you don't do the mechanic, we want it to kill you. And they're like,
I can't believe they didn't actually think of that while they were making the fight.
Yeah. There is a little bit of that in Dawn Trail, though. It feels like they just kind of think of an idea that's really cool and then just do it, but they don't think about how the players are going to rationalize it later. Because we've seen that, like, going all the way back, Ultima Weapon Ultimate, Garuda we just do completely wrong. Like, they didn't want us doing Garuda the way that groups do Garuda. But
Yeah.
they said, well, that's our fault, so we're gonna leave it, But to think like when something's made to be a spectacle and like they have an idea of how it'll, because doing Garuda the normal way is way harder and way more engaging than the other way. But when they let people think too much about stuff and they incorporate that, that's when we tend to get the funky stuff. So I'm not going to be too surprised if we see something that's really funky. I think we're going to see a lot of cases like the wall Zoral jaw strat across the expansion. I think it's going to happen a lot, actually.
Hope so.
You hope that we can just do things by standing in the wall. I guess in exchange for shit being like kind of just cooler, at least initially, even if it kind of gets broken down. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just surprised. The wall needs to not kill you for normal mode. Just change the number in extreme. We're just make it different, and it's two different fights. We'll be all right. Yeah. Oh, but what a tier. What a banger intro to Dawn Trail. I mean, this is the first time we've actually had you on for all of Dawn Trail so far, Whoops, but it seems like you've generally been enjoying yourself across the board.
I'd consider myself a Dawn Trail enjoyer at this point, yeah.
Yeah. The dungeons, the story. I mean, I guess the story we talked about last week, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not my favorite expansion, but
it has to earn that.
Yeah, it's still really good. I had a great time. I'm having a great time.
What expansion would it be competing with for you?
Endwalker.
Really?
It's just in terms of story, though.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just
is mostly what I mean.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say.
In terms of content, that's why Shadowbringers is second, because Shadowbringers had really good content and good story.
Yeah.
And then Heaven's Ward, because I really like dragons.
Don't talk about Heaven's Ward content around me. The flashbacks. The booty.
The booty?
Liquid booty. Yeah, living liquid booty.
Living liquid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That booty will haunt me forever, and not in the ways that I would like it to. Sly. See, you know what's funny about Sly? Sly's memory is worse because Sly was in the group of people that never got to see past the booty. Living liquid killed my rating dreams. All of my friends are gone now.
Classic.
Stuck me in a fucking gobwalker for fucking what?
Not the Gobwalker, no.
all that time, and then y'all just gonna fucking dip. After my pain, fuck y'all. Eat a dick.
Don't blame me, man. A2S sucked.
We did it with the healer in the Gobwalker until the last two. So we one-healed it until the last bit, and then I had to do it as the Fizz ranged, which, I'm not going to lie, fair. Okay? Even back then, because Bard and Machinist were pretty bad, fair.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's always going to be compared to Stormblood for me. But we're already on a Stormblood-esque track, not just with kind of like the feeling of everything, because I do think Dawn Trail feels like a Stormblood expansion. It feels kind of divided story-wise, where you have a first half and a second half, and it's pretty clear between the two different locations, two different societies and whatnot. And content-wise, we've got a lot of the same stuff that's been promised. I don't know if both of you have kept up, but they have said Shade's Triangle, which is our next exploration zone, is aimed for the 0.2x series this time, much like Eureka was initially.
Ooh.
So 0.2, they said?
Yeah, they said 0.2x,
shit.
like Animos was. Mm-hmm.
This is news to me. I'm excited. I'm like, that's like low-key what I'm most looking forward to. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
The new way to level all your jobs and everything. Yeah.
Tomes, potentially relics, copium.
Probably. Let's be real. You know.
Probably.
I think they'll probably do a better job of splitting it than even they did in Shadowbringers. Because Shadowbringers, you had to progress the story through Bozia.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't technically have to do all the relic steps in there. So, like, I think they'll probably see a bigger division of the two. Like, something that's more cut and dry. You don't need to do it at all to do the relic. But if you are, it kind of works situation. Yeah. But, I mean, duels. They said they wanted to take the best of Eureka and the best of Bozia and combine them and get rid of the things people said they didn't like. So, with that, I'd assume duels are back We already know the big raid is back, which has been a big favorite. They've already commented on there being a big Savage raid as well.
Yay!
Yeah, I think the item system in Bozy works better, but I think the rewards are better done in Eureka. So there's a lot that could go right at the very least. There's also a lot that could still go wrong.
Let's hope they take the lessons learned from the last two and then just make it overall a huge banger.
Hopefully. But I think the promise of the schedule of the content is the big thing, because that's, I think, Endwalker players who were a little starved need that. They need those assurances as soon as possible. So we need to learn. We've now got our taste of the content. 2 banger extreme trials, which is impressive. No, I didn't feel like either of them were a Zodiark, which I didn't mind Zodiark, but I didn't feel like either of them.
Well, Armada kind of was, but like it's also got its own like really difficult parts.
The fire phase at the start is, I think,
where you can't just follow someone.
Yeah, not only that, but it's just like the pace of the fire phase is literally like, oh, here's everyone's debuffs. Now you have a volcano. Now there's ground AoEs. Now it's pairs and either in, out, or sides. And then it's, this roll has to keep moving. Then it's the tank buster thing with the cone that opens up.
It's like constant. It's awesome.
Yeah. So that's what we're hoping. That's what we're hoping for. We want all of that just wrapped up. But then we still have a deep dungeon that they're working on. We have criterions and variants we know they're working on. We have Shades Triangle, which we have a schedule for now. There's cosmic exploration still for the crafters and gatherers. It's literally the promise of everything that was in Stormblood and Shadowbringers in one expansion.
Yay!
So if they pull it off, it'll really make 8.0 suck if they don't do it again.
It'll be the greatest content expansion by far in terms of we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'd be really unfortunate if 8.0 then doesn't do like half that shit. They're like, yeah, well, we just did it for 7.0. They might be digging a hole that they haven't really quite realized yet, but we'll worry about that after we've enjoyed the content.
They can handle it.
Some people can. Some people can't. But Arcadian, you get a clap. You get a clappers. I got Savage July 30th. Anybody got any special foods, any special preps they're planning on doing?
Not yet, but I will be doing that.
You just don't know what? You just haven't solidified it yet?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, Happy, I'm glad you asked, because Sly's 24-hour drive-through pawn and gun auto parts athological adult give bait and tackle discount cigarette outlet will be open on July 30th for all your armor and weapon needs.
I meant out of game, but yeah, okay, I guess that's a form of prep, yeah. You have practiced that a lot.
That was impressive.
That was very impressive. You sat in front of a mirror and said that a lot. That sounded like me when I was practicing Wormhole and I was just laying in bed and I was just like sitting there with my eyes open. 1 goes here, 2 goes here. just repeating it.
But no, I've already made the sign-up sheet for people who will need armor and everything. It's already up. I can probably post a link later, but yeah. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing.
Make him bank. Where's all that money go, Sly? Just in the housing?
Housing, yeah, events, shit,
VIP venues,
Yeah.
The only venue I go to, Sly, is yours, and only for special occasions.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I know very little. I was not there on your birthday, but I was for other special occasions.
Because I didn't have a birthday event this year because fucking Dawn Trail. Thanks, Yoshi P, by the way. And it's like I'm trying to like find a time to make the replacement event. And then it's like, well, fucking Savage is coming up. I mean, I might either wait a week after or 2 weeks after that. So I don't know. Yeah. Thanks, Dawn Trail.
Yippee!
Yippee! But all right, I think we've covered everything we needed to cover for Arcadian itself. We got to talk briefly about the hilarious forum post, and that's been making the rounds. So I think we can actually call the show here, get it done a little bit early, and let everyone get to their Fridays and whatnot.
Friday.
Raid night.
Today is Friday.
Oh, yeah,
in
we have raid.
California.
Shit.
Yeah,
I can't start day drinking.
I mean, you can just raid night might not go that well.
What's stopping me?
Tell ya, I mean, it's just Kefka again, and probably Midgardsormr.
I love Kefka.
Yeah, do you like Midgardsormr?
No.
Well, then you
I
might
can
need the
agree with you
drinking.
there.
Here's the
Let's
thing.
do it.
You can drink to celebrate Kefka and drink to forget Midgardsormr.
Ease the pain of Mrhappy. Exactly.
Perfect.
All of a sudden, you try to do a call out, just like, hey, I'm going to go.
See, that's what I like about raiding with Mr. Happy, Keo, and Nuber in the same group is I don't have to say anything.
I barely need to say anything. I just throw out one of my call outs once in a while. Saving, you know, it's funny. Guardian predates me saying saving this for later. So that was a first for me. I don't remember what the first tier. I think it was Eden's Promise, where it's the first time I ever said saving this for later. Thank you. Thank you. I said that, and all I heard was Whoop say, he said the line.
He said it.
God damn. I didn't think this would be my claim to fame. I guess I got to open a Fiverr account and just do fucking call outs for people. Just record call outs. The Mr. Happy call out sound pack. Oh, I hate that. I hate that a lot. Either way, I think we can call it here and we can get to sort of enjoying our Fridays. Minus the day drinking, I suppose. All right. Well, thanks for taking the time, Whoops, to come and talk about Arcadian stuff.
Whoops.
Looking forward to Savage, and good luck to Sly. Are you going to do the Savages? I forgot to ask.
Yeah, I plan on it.
I assume you will, but like when? Like week one?
I want to. I'll make one. Depends on what we do. So we'll see.
I've heard there's a large motion to making a lot more people just hop into PF just because. So.
Yeah, but you know, I don't trust people.
Me neither, man. I just wanted to see what you wanted to do.
I mean, there are people I trust, and then there's PF, and you know,
could be a good stream.
The thing is, you can trust PF just not to do well.
Oh, true.
True, big true. You speak the true.
You know, it's you just don't be the guy who dies 3 times and then goes you good to the rest of the party, and you're fine.
You good?
You good?
We good, guys?
We good?
Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to it.
Yes,
it's gonna be awesome.
Well, maybe we'll have you on to talk about Savage after the fact too.
Hard cut to us going, that tier fucking sucks. Oh my god.
No, if that happens, it's gonna be Melee saying that and me just going like, I don't know, I thought it was pretty good.
I was chilling.
Yeah, that was a great tier if you ask me. I just hit the boss and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely have to get a melee and a ranged on the show. Actually, a melee and a healer. I don't think we don't need tank opinions. They are always bored.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Kitchen sink.
They're always bored. They're just like, yeah, I moved the boss. Hey, the bosses still move themselves. That hasn't changed much. I didn't say tanks were bad. I said tanks are the most bored. They're just like, yeah, I guess I'll press my defensives. But then again,
most of the time, they don't even have to.
I think that's gonna hit really hard here. I think they're gonna have to. I'm very afraid. I'm very afraid for raid damage in particular. I think that's even Valagarmanda's raid damage does not fuck about. So I can only imagine what happens when we have 6 back-to-back brutal impacts and fucking spread AoEs at the same time or some dumb shit like that. Oh god, that's gonna happen. Fuck. All right. Well, with that, thanks everyone for joining. Thanks again to our sponsors over on Patreon for supporting. Again, it's show is available for free everywhere, but we appreciate anyone who supports over there. So thank you for that. And again, Whoops, thanks for taking the time. I know it's a little on the earlier side for you on some days, depending on the day.
Okay. I wake up and I sleep randomly.
Okay, I was gonna say he's got to have a point.
That's
because
a mood.
I wake up and I
That's
sleep.
a mood.
I wake up and I
is a
sleep
mood.
is also just a mood, because that's this. That's
Yep. I mean, I might go nap till right. I'm not gonna lie.
well, it was either day drink or nap. You know, it was one of the two. Those are the two best options that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, whoops! Why don't you tell everyone what you're doing, where they can find you? You know, the usual outro stuff.
I've just been leveling jobs and raiding on Final Fantasy. That's it. My name's Whoops everywhere. If you wanna watch somebody scream about leveling everything, then there you go.
You should do some fates.
Oh, I've done a lot of fates, Mr. Happy.
How many vouchers are you?
None, because I've been buying crafting mats and then just selling them.
You should sell the vouchers.
And I've been collecting all the like framer kits and cards and all the orchestrations and stuff too.
There you go.
I'm somewhat of a collector, you might say.
All right, Willem Dafoe. All right, well, thanks again.
No problem.
Sly, why don't you tell everyone, other than your advertisement you already did for, I couldn't even remember half the words that you just said. Where can they find you at and all that? He's going to say it again. He looks like he's going to say it again.
No. You can find me at twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox. You can find me on Twitter at Sly, aka Gray Fox. I've just been doing a fuck ton of fates. I'm farming materia for Magatherer, getting mats and shit ready for Savage Day. Again, there is a sign up sheet on my Twitter at Sly, aka Gray Fox. If you are on, I guess we will probably have data center travel on the 30th.
Yeah, they said that they had planned to have it back by 7.05 at the latest. So
Yeah.
unless it was like severe, but I honestly they could have brought it back in 0.01 and I think it would have been fine with the way things are now.
Yeah. So yeah, it won't matter what server you're on. Yeah, if you want to get yourself a sign up, first come, first serve, tell me what you need, you'll get it.
You can also go to Dynamis even if you couldn't. Like that's always available. You could just drop stuff
Yeah,
off
that's
on
true, but like the way I have it set up, like it's going to be pretty much streamlined. I'll make your shit, put it on a mannequin, you pay for it, get up and get the killing.
It's a good system. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, and Sly streams, by the way. He said Twitch, but he promised that he wanted to say I stream from now on. I'm reminding him.
Yeah, I forgot to say it at the fucking beginning too.
Don't worry, we know everybody watches to the end.
Yeah, right.
They definitely haven't clicked off yet, which is why now I'm going to read off a code for a mount.
We really should fucking do that. I swear to God, just to see.
He's kidding, by the way. He gave his last code away to a hide and seek game.
Oh, did you see that? That was so
no.
funny.
I was gonna say, hey, y'all got any more of those Porksy King mounts? No, y'all got no.
I'm out.
Ooh.
I'm out.
Yeah, me too. Yep. Same.
I might ask for more though. Do you think they'd say yes?
You know what? They can't say yes if you don't ask.
True.
That's true. You speak the truth.
Yeah. They also can't say no. Pessimist in me. Right. And I'm the last one. Well, you're already here on Twitch, so you don't care about that. But Mr. Happy 1227 everywhere because I like the numbers in my name and they're probably never going anywhere. And I've also just been playing a bunch of Dawn Trail. A lot. I really want to play some Elden Ring just to take a break. But
Me too, brother.
I mean, I finished the DLC, but I want to do Randomizer. That's what I want to do. The Randomizer.
I still haven't even touched the DLC.
Me either.
It's pretty good. That's my review. It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I thought it was a little easy,
Okay.
But apparently that's controversial. But then again, I'll say Dawn Trail's easy too.
True.
So, yeah. So thanks everyone for joining. We're gonna do a very short post show because I want to get up and get to the gym and all that stuff. So we're gonna go to post show. Okay, we'll see you next week for another show that's about something that's related to Dawn Trail because that's what just came out. So bye bye everyone.
See ya.
See you next week.